So when the object is being created, or more specifically, we have an instance being instantiated, the sentence looks something like this. We have parent p is equal to new parent. Let me just correct that p. It should be capital because it is a class. We'll stick to our conventions. So when this statement is being executed, just for the sake of understanding, here's what happens. So we have parent p. So the Java compiler will go to the class parent and will reserve all the space required to create an object p. So if the parent class has say 10 methods, so let's say that we will have 10 spaces like this. So we have 4, 8 and 2. So we have 10 spaces reserved like this. And when the right hand side of this statement is executed, we actually fill out these spaces. So what happens is this memory, which is nothing but p, will actually have the implementation as mentioned in the source code. So in this case, it is quite clear that we'll have a parent object and we'll have a new parent, that is the kind of object that it is pointing to. So we have the reference type as parent and the object it is pointing to again to be parent. Now it becomes confusing when we have declarations like these. We have parent p is equal to new child. So what happens here is we'll have the space reserved as before, and this time when the right hand side is executed, the compiler actually goes to the child class and sees what type of methods the child class has. Now if we have something matching, for which in our case is overriding, so if the parent class has say this method and the child class also has this method, so here instead of having the implementation of the parent class, the child class implementation comes in over here. So this is how overriding works. But when we are talking about hiding, that's not exactly what's happening. In case of overriding, what happens is the type of object that is being pointed to, so in this case it is child, in this case it was parent, decides which function is to be called. In very simple terms, the right hand side decides which function will be called. So if the right hand side is parent, then the parent function will be called. I'm talking about overridden method. So the parent overridden method will be called. In this case, if child is on the right hand side, then the overridden version in the child class will be called. So that is how overriding works. And in case of hiding, so when we're talking about hiding, we are actually talking about overriding syntactically a static method. If we have a static method inside the parent class as well as the child class version is not invoked. Instead, in this case, the Java compiler will see the left hand side. So if we are to invoke a class method using an instance, then if the function you're trying to call is static using this instance, then no longer the Java compiler will check the right hand side, but it will check the left hand side. If the object belongs to type parent, then the parent class static method will be invoked, and if it is child, then the child class static method will be invoked. So when you override a method, and now it's clear that overriding a method means an instance method and not a static method, you still get the benefits of runtime polymorphism. Runtime polymorphism refers to this, that on runtime, the type of object being pointed to is decided. So you still get the benefits of runtime polymorphism, and when you hide, you don't. In terms of hiding, if I am to call the static methods using these instances, let's have a look what happens. So we have po.class method. So according to our hypothesis or what we've just learned, if we are calling a static method, in this case we are, the reference type, so parent over is the reference type, will resolve the call, and this resolution is done at compile time. There's nothing coming into the picture at runtime. So the expected output would be this class method of parent invoked. So let me just save this. Let's go ahead and compile it and run it. So yeah, we have our class method of parent invoked. And of course, the second line of the output is nothing but this particular statement, po.instance method. That's all for this video. Thank you so much. Keep watching.